Hi guys, it's Andy from Nismo Tech UK. Today we're having a look at the P280 from our sponsor Antec. Okay, so let's have a look at the front of the box. Obviously we've got the Antec 25 Special Edition branding up at the top here. We've got the P280 image of the actual case, which looks fantastic. Also mentions it's quiet computing, designed by Antec in California. Onto this side of the box, again, also we've got a nice image of the actual chassis, which is then on this side repeated, but also we've got an internal look of the actual case. Now onto the back of the actual case, we've got the various different elements or key features of the actual case. High performance, maximum length of 330mm for the graphics card. We've got dual layer sort of quiet computing foam on the inside that we'll have a look at in a moment. Toolless installation as you'd expect. 2 USB 3.0, multiple room for water cooling and air cooling, various different things like that, maximum height for the CPU cooler, all this technical information, also removable dust filters, so all this information will come on to in a moment. Up at the top, in multiple different languages, we have got obviously the key features with regards to the amount of bays, etc, so we'll touch on that in a moment. So let's now get it out of the actual box itself. Okay, so let's start with the front of the Antec P280. We can see that we've got a really nice brushed aluminium design at the front here, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. Down at the bottom we have got the Antec logo embossed. We've got the headphone and microphone ports, USB 2.0 and 2 USB 3.0. The design of the door itself is a 3-layer design. We have got the brushed aluminium followed by a plastic shell, and then on the inside we've got really nice thick foam material to help with the noise and vibration, so it's going to help to distract the noise from the front fans. As you can see as well, the door does actually open up a little bit further. We've got a 270-degree angle with the actual door, which is really nice, like that. The fan filter is very easy to remove. You just literally pull in the 2 clips down to remove the actual fan filter. So if you're someone like myself who really can't be bothered to clean fan filters, you've got no excuse. It's very easy to do. Nice honeycomb material, very strong, very rigid. Down here we have got room for 2 120mm fans, and by the looks of it we have got a little bit of room to feed the actual cables, potentially in behind there, or maybe down at the top or bottom. I'm not too sure. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But the front of the case also features 3 5.25-inch bays. I'm not a massive fan, I must admit, of cases with doors, but I think with this case, I think they've done it really well, especially with the sort of double hinge up at the top and at the bottom to make it easier to open. And the overall look at the front is very elegant, very stylish indeed. You've got no flashing LEDs going on, so I really quite like this. Okay, so I want to show you the top of the case. We have got a very nice sized power button, an even better sized reset button. It's not too small where you have to find a pen or a screwdriver to reset the actual PC. Very easy to press on that. I do like the fact that it is actually mounted up at the top rather than being behind the door or on the actual front fascia panel with the rest of the connectors. I think it's quite nice that it's up at the top here. We also got 2 120mm fans pre-installed at the top, but we'll look at those in a little bit more detail in a moment. Okay, so now on to the business end of the case, which is this side here. Obviously this is held in by thumb screws, but I just want to show you this as well. It's a 0.8mm steel side panel, and we also have a polycarbonate material installed onto this side of the actual side panel, which helps obviously with the sound deadening. So let's just pop that down there. Now this case does support XL-ATX, standard ATX, micro ATX and mini ITX form factors with the actual motherboard. As you can see, we've got a massive CPU cutout up at the top here, but let's now concentrate on the actual storage options. Up at the top here we have got the tallest 3.5-inch installation. Quite a nice effect and an easy to install design by the looks of things. You have got room for additional screw points at the front and back if you did want to secure the optical drives down a bit further. Now we have 6 hard drive caddies here. Each one you're able to install a 3.5-inch and also a 2.5-inch hard drive into. Reasonably strong, well very strong actually, to be honest with you. The installation isn't quite toolless. You do have pre-installed anti-vibration rubber grommets that are nice and soft for the 3.5-inch drives. Obviously 2.5-inch would fit in there. Very easy to push in and out, and overall a really nice design, quite like this. Now the one thing that I really love about this particular case is that we have got 2 dedicated 2.5-inch bays, and they're here. So what I'm going to do is show you using an SSD. You're literally just pushing that straight into place, and obviously from the back you connect the cables up. Now it does look like it does protrude possibly a little bit too much for the side panel to go on, but I have checked this and it does go on very easily, and you don't actually touch the actual SSD. So the fact that you're able to install 2 SSDs into there very easily, toollessly, straight away, I think is a really good feature of the actual case. Moving down to the PSU area, I don't know if you can quite see that. Let me just try and bring you in a bit closer and have a look. Down here we've got Antec design embossed into the actual bottom panel, which is quite nice. There's no 120mm fan at the bottom, which potentially would have been quite nice to see as an additional fan mounting point. But this is, I really love this. Obviously most cases now got fan filters for the PSU. Majority of them, actually, in fact all of them as far as I know, come out from the back. This little fella here comes out from that side. I think that's really good indeed. You're able to literally just pull that out, in and out whenever you want. You don't necessarily have to move your case around in order to get the actual fan filter out. And again, it's very strong, very rigid, so it's going to obviously help with preventing dust from getting up into the system. It does kind of lock into place as well. If you lift, once it's actually installed, you can actually lift it up, which makes it a bit more difficult to actually remove. You just basically push that down and then pull it out. So if you are moving the case around, you can kind of lock it into place. The other thing to mention as well is there doesn't appear to be any sort of real support for the actual PSU, no rubber mounts at all, so you might end up with a bit of vibration coming from the PSU, but to be honest, with the additional sound deadening material on the case, you're not really going to notice any vibration coming from this. Okay, so let's look at the cable management. We have got 4 rubber grommets, very nicely positioned as well. So I see around about here is where your 24 pin potentially is going to come out, or up at the top here. You've got a nice amount of options for cable management to come through. Also, if I bring you around to this side, you are able to install 2 120mm fans here. Now this is kind of toolless. You literally just snap your fan straight into there, so you're then able to cool your graphics cards, the motherboard, etc., and also get rid of the heat from any potential hard drives that you'd be installing. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the internal header cables that come with the actual case itself. First one is the internal USB 3.0 header. Now, one thing that's really cool on this as well, if you haven't got an internal header for USB 3.0, you are able to connect it straight into a USB 2.0 header as well. So I think that's quite good, and they've obviously thought about the various different options that people may have. The next one that we've got here is the USB 2.0, the dedicated USB 2.0. We have got your audio connection, and then we have got here, we have got your power switch, reset switch, hard drive LED, and also power LED as well. Now obviously, apart from the switches and the cables, the rest of them are all nice and black. Probably would have been nice to see these in black as well, but they've got a massive amount of room, so you're able to obviously stick them in behind the actual motherboard tray and bring them out wherever you need to bring them out in order to connect them to your motherboard. Okay, so onto this side of the case, you can see the rubber grommets in a bit more detail. They're nice, soft and flexible, and obviously return to position very, very easily. You've got numerous different cable tie-down points on the actual case, as well as a total of 30 centimeters of clearance between the motherboard tray and the actual side panel of the case. So you've got a massive amount of room. You're not going to have any problems putting your 24-pin power connector coming through the bottom here, and obviously then coming straight out the top. It's really good indeed. You also have a number of other different holes up at the top here, obviously for your power to the motherboard, down at the bottom here. So yeah, the cable management is definitely something that Antec has thought about quite a lot with the P280. Moving on to the hard drive storage area, as you can see, we've got a massive amount of room for cables to come off your SATA hard drives and obviously then go straight into the actual rubber grommets here. But also, as you hopefully can see right at the back here, I have got an SSD actually installed. I'll just take that out and stick that back in a moment. There we go, that's back in. So you are able to access the actual data and power ports quite easily. Obviously then again run the cables down and then straight through. The other thing as well, while we're on this side of the case, you can see that we've got a massive amount of gap here for the front intake fans. So obviously you've got a great deal of room for air to get in through the actual, between the front door and the actual main part of the case, to obviously help with the airflow going through the actual case itself. Okay, so looking at the bottom of the case, you can see the fan filter, which is obviously taken out from the side of the actual case. Would have been nice to see a 120mm fan point here. The feet itself are of a sort of soft silicone material on the actual main tip of the actual feet to obviously help with the vibration and to stop it from scratching surfaces if you are moving it around. And also we've got a black outer rim to go with the overall design of the actual case. Okay, so at the back we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 expansion slots up at the top here. They are thumb screwed in, which is really nice. Also like the vented PCI bracket slot covers as well. A couple of rubber grommets for water cooling, and obviously a vented area here. Now the main reason why I've sort of taken it off the tripod is to show you this here. Now it may look like a complete mess of cables, but we have got 3 pre-installed 120mm fans. They are nice and black as well. Now in behind here, I don't know if you can quite see, we have actually got a 3-pin PCB header board. So it's powered by a Molex connector, but essentially it controls all 3 fans here. There is room for an additional fan to connect that up, and they are basically connected in here, and then they go through to the top here. Now on the back of the actual case, if I turn this around and come down here, we have actually got a 3-channel fan controller. A little bit fiddly to actually operate with the low and high sort of switch that goes across, but essentially that's really quite nice. They've taken the fan controller and chucked it at the back of the actual case, which is, to some people, might be a good feature, it may not, but essentially it just takes it away from the front, obviously with the elegant look of the actual case. So I quite like the fact that they put this at the back. There's also a gap here for the 4th controller, which would have been nice to have that included in case you did want to, I don't know, connect the fan up from the CPU cooler or something like that to the actual controller. It has got the capability of controlling 4 fans, so it would have been nice to see the 4th controller being installed. Okay, so I've now got a power supply connected up to the actual P280, just to demonstrate the actual fan controller at the back here. Now I'm just going to switch this on, and you can see, I'll see the rear fans kicking into life. I don't think you're going to really be able to actually see the fans themselves slow down. At the moment they are in the high position, so this one here I'm just going to quickly turn over to low. And you can see it has started to actually slow down. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but even on low you've got quite a bit of air coming from the actual back of the case. But you put that up on high and these fans really do perform very well indeed. I'm not quite sure as to what fans are actually installed, but again, coming up at the top here, a massive amount of air is being pulled from the case coming out of the actual top, so I'm quite impressed with the actual fans that come pre-installed with the Antec P280. Now the other thing that I will say, obviously as I already mentioned, there's a lot of cables that are up at the top here. It was reasonably quite tricky actually to get the Molex power connector in, but essentially all you need to do is pull this away, all the cables away, and you are able to put that in. If you're like myself and you like your cables to be really neat and tidy, then so you are going to want to sort of tidy this area up a little bit better than the way that it does come as standard. Okay, so let's have a look and see what accessories and screws that we actually get with the actual Antec P280. We have got, by the looks of it, warranty information that comes with a 3-year quality warranty, which is really good indeed. We have this sort of simple instruction guide in various different languages, which points out the various key points and gives you a little bit of information about the actual case itself. We also have a massive bag of screws, obviously for the hard drive installation, with it not being tool free, some spare motherboard mounts, fan connectors, and various other different screws, as well as a nice selection of black cable ties. Okay, so let's start with my thoughts about the Antec P280. Now, where to start with the actual case? It is simply stunning. Firstly, the overall look, feel and design of the case really is outstanding. The brushed aluminium front with its double hinged door is a dream to look at and use, and the fact that the door is double jointed just shows that Antec have thought long and hard about how to make this door stand out from the other cases that feature a sort of full-sized door. The hinge mechanism works absolutely perfectly. I like the simplistic look with regards to the I/O connectors and the ports on top of the actual case. The fact that the reset button and power button are located on the actual roof of the case also adds to its overall look. The option to install the additional fans in the front with the amount of clearance for airflow is excellent, and the sound deadening on the actual door is a nice addition, along with the simple and easy fan filter which is hidden away but also very accessible for cleaning. One of the best features for me on the case is the 2 SSD bays which are dedicated. This is a great design and gives it a nice clean finish to the interior of the actual case. And the bottom PSU fan filter orientation is also very clever and makes it very simple and easy to maintain and clean. The use of the rubber grommets on the inside is also a plus point, and the location on these is perfect. I also like the fact that you can quickly and easily install additional fans to the hard drive cage area to aid with the cooling of the actual case in general. The CPU window is massive, and you shouldn't have any issues installing or swapping out your CPU cooler, and there are plenty of holes, good sizes as well for the holes for cable management, and there is a massive gap behind the motherboard tray to accommodate all your cables that you may wish to install inside the actual case. The fan controller at the rear of the case is a really nice addition for myself personally, taking it away from the front so that it doesn't ruin its clean, smooth overall look. This may be not to sort of everyone's taste, because obviously depending on where you position your case, it might mean that it's difficult to reach and adjust the speeds of the actual fan. Another really good plus point for this case is the fact that it can accommodate up to an XL-ATX motherboard and also 330mm in length for your graphics card. In terms of colour, you can get this in black and white, and both versions do come with a really nice size side window as well. Now, on to the not so good points, and I must admit I did sort of struggle to find sort of any real negatives about the actual case. So in a sense, the points that I'm going to bring up now are probably a bit niggly, to be fair. It would have been nice to see anti-vibration pads for the PSU to help stop with vibration, to stop the PSU from being scratched if you install it or are looking to sort of swap your PSU out, or sort of if you're just buying a bulk standard PSU and you want to upgrade in the future. The fourth fan controller at the back on the back fan controller panel would have been good to see that there, so at least you can control a fourth fan, or at least if you're not going to put it there, don't leave a hole blanket off. So that's one thing that actually really did sort of bug me. Also with the fans, it would have been nice to have the option to install 140mm fans for those that would want to do that, instead of just having standard 120s throughout the actual case. The only other little niggly thing is the coloured power LED cable switch power reset cables that come from the front I/O. The fact that they are coloured and not black like the rest of them, again, that just would have really finished the actual case off nicely. Just to finish off, the P280 has been the only case that has come even close to tempting me to swap out my personal rig and move away from my NZXT Switch 810, which I consider to be one of the best cases on the market and is my absolute personal favourite. The P280 really has come close, and even now I'm still sort of considering whether or not to actually reinstall my system into this particular case. So I hope you liked the overview for the Antec P280. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this case? Is this the sort of case that people dream about? What do you think about the overall look? Let me know. And we look forward to seeing you in our next video. We hoped you liked our video review. If you did, then please leave a like, as well as any comments or questions you may have down below. Full details and specifications on this item can be found at our website, nismotech.com, along with all the links for purchasing if you wish. Also on our site you'll find our latest reviews and current giveaways, plus a lot more. We look forward to seeing you in our next review.